What should the new temple be called? And many devotees say it still continue to be called Krishna Balaram Mandir. Almost like what Srila Prabhupada did in Vrindavan. When you think about the appearance of Lord Krishna himself, there is a lesson for us in understanding the importance of Baladeva in our spiritual lives. We discussed that briefly yesterday. Many of you, some of you were there for the class, many of you were not. So just reiterate that story for a few minutes because it's very important for us to understand and appreciate the position of Lord Baladeva. So, with the pastime of Lord Krishna's appearance, right? Many of us, most of us think of Lord Baladeva's mother as being who? But the reality is that Lord Baladeva was first born to Devaki. In the Shastras it is said that the seventh child born of Devaki was actually Baladeva. And it is said that Kamsa could feel the presence of Lord Baladeva and he became afraid that his killer had actually been born. He started second guessing himself whether the prophecy was true or it's going to be the seventh son or the eighth son. Because the prophecy said the eighth son will kill him. And he became afraid. And it said that Devaki prayed to the Lordship to protect Balaram. There is a mood with which Devaki, as a mother, is always protective to the child. And it is said that at that point, Yogamaya transferred Baladeva from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Rohini was the wife of Vasudeva who was living with Nanda Maharaj. So it said in the Shastras that even when Krishna had to be born in the womb of Devaki, the womb had to be purified by the birth of Baladeva first. And after that, Devaki's womb was ready to receive the Supreme Lord Krishna. Similarly, for our hearts to be purified to receive Krishna, we have to first receive Baladeva in our hearts. Purify our hearts, get his blessings, get his strength, spiritual strength, to be able to receive Lord Krishna in our hearts. So it's very important for us to remember this. And this is the reason also that Lord Baladeva is also known as Sankarsana, because he was attracted from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Devaki. It is said that the forefathers of both Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva are the same. So Nanda Maharaj was born to a Vaishya wife of their father, and Vasudeva was born to a Kshatriya wife. And after that also Nanda Maharaj married a Vaishya. And that's how they were sort of known as Vaishyas. And the family of Vasudeva was known as Kshatriyas. So they were actually practically brothers, step brothers, in the same family. So we all know that Baladeva is the also incarnation of Anantasesha. Right? There's a very interesting part, I'll just read from Prabhupada's words on this. Prabhupada says, this is the most auspicious appearance, dear Lord Balarama, the elder brother of Lord Krishna. The Supreme Personality of God in Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balarama is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in the Lord's transcendental pastimes. He is the source of the entire spiritual world and is the Adi Guru, the original spiritual master. Very interesting how Srila Prabhupada explains this. He says, the Supreme Lord Krishna and Lord Balarama are each the seed and the womb of the universe, the creator and his creative potency respectively. So Lord Krishna is the creator and Baladeva is his creative potency. They enter the hearts of living beings and control their conditioned awareness. They are the primal supreme. So Lord Baladeva has this special position as the origin of the creative potency of the Supreme Lord. If you think about this material world, you hear from the Shastras, the material world is compared to like bubbles that come out of the pores of whom? From whose pores that world come out of? Like Mahavishnu, Karnataksha Vishnu, who is lying in the cosmic ocean. But Mahavishnu is the incarnation of Baladeva, Lord Balaram. So in that sense, this entire world is created by Baladeva. So that is the special understanding of the transcendental pastimes. Sometimes it is a little bewildering, Krishna, Balaram, these different names and different parts of it. It's just the Lord's expansions for different leelas. In fact, Srila Prabhupada talks about the Rama and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself. Right? Sometimes there is discussion about who is the Rama and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There are different schools of thought, very vehemently, saying this versus that. And Srila Prabhupada used to say, the sign of immaturity to think of, one way or the other. So he quotes Jayadeva Goswami, who says that the Rama represents three Ramas. One is, who are the three Ramas? Parashurama, Raghupati Rama, and then Balarama. So, in that sense, the Rama and Hare Krishna mantra represents all three of them. And there isn't any difference in thinking of Balarama is no different from Raghupati Rama, is no different from Parashurama. Okay. So that is the understanding of the Vaishnava Acharyas, which we should remember. And as devotees, for us, Nityananda Mahaprabhu, Lord Baladeva, both of them, the important for us is they are the primary spiritual master of all living entities. The one who gives us the spiritual strength to understand the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada says, we can never directly approach Krishna, only by the mercy of and through Lord Balarama we can approach the Supreme Lord Krishna. Interesting way the word uses. By the mercy of and through Lord Balarama. The spiritual master is considered the true representation of Balarama. Thus, by following the instructions of the spiritual master and by pleasing him, you can get the grace of Krishna. So, on this transcendental appearance day of Lord Balarama, let us remember a few pastimes of Lord Balaram. Yesterday we talked about a few pastimes. We talked about some of the childhood pastimes of killing Prabhasura, killing Dhenukasura. And then we also talked about his marriage with Revati. Some of you are not there. Just to briefly summarize, Revati was the daughter of King Raivata, but he was from a different yuga altogether. Right? Which yuga was King Raivata from? Anybody remembers? From Satya Yuga. It is said that Raivata's daughter, Revati, was so extraordinary and imbued with such wonderful qualities that he could not find a suitable husband for her in this world. And so he goes to Lord Brahma to get a solution for his problem. And while he goes all the way to Brahmaloka and he waits for a few minutes to get audience with Brahma. And in a few minutes, after a few minutes, he asks Brahma saying, I don't find a suitable husband for my daughter, can you please help me? And Lord Brahma laughs and says, well, your problem has already been solved, go back to the earth, Lord Baladeva is waiting for you, a suitable husband for Revati. So the time passes so differently. In Brahmaloka's few minutes is equal to many yugas down here. And Satya Yuga become Treta and become Dwapara, Lord Baladeva had been born. And that's how Revati and Balaram were married. So we'll talk a little bit about some later pastimes of Lord Baladeva. Lord Baladeva it is said that after Lord Baladeva and Krishna moved to Mathura, and then after that they moved to Dwarka, right? It is said that once Lord Baladeva visited Vrindavan by himself after after they moved to Dwarka. And it is also said in the Shastras that Lord Baladeva also performs Rasa Leela. And the gopis who perform Rasa Leela with Lord Baladeva were different from the gopis who perform Rasa Leela with Krishna. These are all very esoteric and complicated subject matters, difficult for us to understand. So I just want to read about this pastime. So that time, when the Lord was performing his, Baladeva was performing his Rasa Leela, he desired to take a bath in Yamuna along with the gopis. And at this time, even though he desired, Yamuna refused to come near where they were performing. And Lord Baladeva gets angry and takes his hala and drags Yamuna to come near. And Yamuna comes and apologizes and participates in the transcendental pastimes of Lord Baladeva. So it's very powerful, very strong. A similar pastime happened with the Kauravas. So, Samba was the son of Jambavati and Krishna. He happened to kidnap Lakshmana, who was the daughter of Duryodhana. Right? Because Lakshmana desired to marry Samba. And there was a Swayamvara assembled to find a suitable suitor for Lakshmana. But Samba, before the Swayamvara could happen, kidnapped Lakshmana. At that time, the Kauravas were very, very angry. They felt it like a snub. who are these? Because the reality was that the Kuru dynasty was the Maharajas who ruled the entire planet. The Yadavas were like just some kings who ruled under the Kauravas. Right? There was always only one Maharaja, one dynasty that ruled the entire world. But everybody knew that even though the arrangement was like that, the Yadavas were so powerful that nobody could stand up to them. But it is said that the Kauravas were a little puffed up of their position as Maharajas and decided to send 6 of the biggest warriors to go capture Samba. In the past time is that because there were such big warriors, Samba gets captured by them. And Lord Baladeva gets very angry at the Kauravas for doing that. After all, Samba was the crown prince of the Yadavas. Right? And it was considered as an insult to the Yadavas that they did not honor his wish to marry Lakshmana and they captured him. At that time, when Baladeva got so angry, his choicest weapon is always his hala. Every time anybody gets in trouble with Baladeva, he takes out his hala and he is ready to punish them with his hala. At that time, he was trying to drag the entire Hastinapur into the Yamuna. Right? The whole earth trembled and Hastinapur was being dragged. Imagine a whole place, city being dragged into the water. And they all came to their senses of who they were dealing with and came and fell at the feet of Baladeva. He said that Baladeva is very easy to please. And Duryodhana knew this trick, always used to use this trick. Simple praises and Baladeva is very happy with it. And here in this case also, he comes and praises and fall at the feet of Baladeva and praise him a little bit and he becomes appeased and says, okay, fine, I'll forgive you. In fact, Duryodhana knew how to use this weakness of Baladeva. And he said that Baladeva had 2 main disciples. Right? Who are the 2 main disciples of Baladeva? Duryodhana and Bhima. Right? He taught them equally in the art of fighting, Mahavira. And but still, Baladev was considered his favorite. Baladev considered Duryodhana as his favorite disciple. And when Mahabharata started, Baladev was completely against the war. He didn't want to participate in the war. And so he goes to the Pandavas and tells them not to fight. And Prabhupada says that Pandavas, there is a Leela, obviously Krishna wanted him to fight. Prabhupada says, Pandavas being puffed up, didn't listen to Baladeva. These are all very transcendental pastimes. We all know that Krishna wanted the war to happen. He also tried, he himself went as a messenger. Right? The Kauravas was insulted. It's a war had to happen. So at that time, Baladeva decides. See, when we hear about Mahabharata, we hear about Krishna being the charioteer of Arjuna. But Baladeva is nowhere mentioned in the Mahabharata, in the war. The reason is that Baladeva was so upset that they didn't listen to him. What does he decide to do? He goes on a pilgrimage of the entire Bharatavarsha. He says, I don't want to see this bloodshed of the destruction of the dynasties, and he goes on pilgrimage. And then when he hears about, but even then, when he hears about the fight between Bhima and Duryodhana, and how Bhima applies a trick and splits Duryodhana below his waist, Balaram gets very upset with him. He gets very angry with Bhima. And so it is said that they had to appease him, and beg his forgiveness. It is also said that another pastime of Lord Baladev is part of this pilgrimage. When he is touring different planets, different places of pilgrimage, he comes to Naimisharanya. Right? Anybody knows the pastime of Lord Baladev and Naimisharanya? Roma Harshana. Right? So Roma Harshana was appointed by the sages to recite the Bhagavatam. The Naimisharanya, the recitation of Bhagavatam happens in multiple times. Right? There's a primary recitation of the Bhagavatam that happens. Right? Sukadeva Goswami is reciting to Parishad Mara. There's another recitation where Roma Harshana was chosen to recite the Bhagavatam on the banks of only the Naimisharanya forest. At this time, all the sages were gathered. Every time Bhagavatam is recited, the sages from all over the universe come. Not just the sages from the earthly planetary system. The big sages from the other planetary system all come down to listen. It's so wonderful to hear the pastimes of the Lord in the form of Bhagavatam. And so here, they were all gathered, and when Baladeva, such a great personality, came to the assembly, everybody stood up and offered obeisances to Baladeva. Right? But Roma Harshana, he was appointed as the head of the assembly, and he was given the Vyasasana to sit. He got puffed up by his position that he refused to get up from the Vyasasana and acknowledge the presence and appearance of Lord Baladeva. And Lord Baladeva, out of mercy to him and to show the proper respect that has to be given, he gets upset with him. And with just the tip of a blade of a grass, just pulls a blade of grass and just touches him like this. And he falls dead. That is the power of Lord Baladev. At that point, Roma Harshana's son, Suta, was appointed to take over his father's position to continue reciting the Bhagavatam. So the other pastime of Lord Baladeva that is described in the Mahabharata, the beginning of Roma Harshana. In the end, I just read about how Lord Baladeva left this world. Right? Then we all know about how Krishna left the world, being hit by the arrow of a hunter. Everybody knows how Lord Baladeva left this world.
As a snake towards Patala.
Huh? As a snake?
Towards Patala.
Yeah. So they said that in Prabhasa Kshetra, that is where the final pastimes of Lord Baladeva in this material world were held. So in Prabhasa Kshetra, Lord Baladeva transforms himself into a snake to represent Ananta, and then goes into enters into Yamuna, it is said. And that's how he left this world. So these are all very interesting pastimes of Lord Baladev. Very apt for us to remember that on this day, auspicious appearance of Lord Baladeva. And we should all beg the mercy of Balaram to give us spiritual strength to become fixed up in our devotion to Krishna. The important aspect of devotional service that is mentioned in the Bhagavatam is Avya Vicharena Bhakti Yoga. We have to be Avya Vicharena Bhakti. We have to underlie devotion. And it's a very, very difficult task for us to develop underlying devotion. Usually, Prabhupada, he would use very interesting words. An alloy is always a mix of more than one metal, right? You have to be unalloyed, pure, unadulterated, and single-minded worship of the Supreme Lord. Till we get to the point that 24 hours of our day is spent only thinking of Krishna, in serving Krishna, in remembering Him, in doing devotional service, in remembrance of the Lord. Till we get to that point, we will be stuck in this material world. And only Baladeva can give us the strength to develop this underlying devotion to Krishna. So let's all pray and sing the praises of Lord Baladeva on this auspicious occasion. Remember that Balaram is very easy to please with a few words. Right? Let's try to please Lord Baladeva and get his strength to become pure devotees of Lord Krishna by the mercy of Baladeva and the mercy of his representative, Srila Prabhupada Spiritual Master. We'll stop here. Anybody with a quick question or comment? जय बलराम जयंती महोत्सव की जय, बलदेव की जय, दाव जी की जय, बोल प्रेमानंद जय प्रभुपाद। What's the next program?